Looking for that side gank. We do see Seaborg going in a little hard. Nice flash Q coming out from Crims, but he does miss the center of the Glacier Flip. But that's going to be first blood going over to Crims. Crims throws out the Frozen Flail. That's going to be a huge lockdown as he does manage to pick it up. Slowbro getting brought really, really low. That's going to be the Ignite taking him out of there as Kaori picks up that kill. Or Riri's going to get brought down as well as Ari picks up yet another one. A shutdown going over to the side of RLS. Crims caught off to the side. A missed Aphelios ult from Yanyan means he's going to catch a charm to the face. Cataclysm's going to lock him in place too, but look at this Seaborg coming in, jumping in on the rest of RLS, ripping them to shreds, showing them why she is the queen of this. Art of War, if they are able to pick this up, RLS can't allow that to happen because they would be absolutely devastating with it. Frozen Flail is going to catch on to Anti. That is going to be a huge engage. That is the go button that Art of War was looking for. They are running in on this. We got the Ornn ulti coming out. It's only going to knock up one, and that's going to be Kiana. Poor Anti is caught in the backline. Aphelios just throwing at those shurikens, getting a lot of damage. Is he able to just rip right through them? Flail's going to basically freeze any form of engage. They're able to take this tower down before they have any opportunity. The Cataclysm is going to come out catching Slowbro in it, but it's not going to really matter as the rest of Art of War does come in and start ripping through the health bars of rapidly losing to Entity. They have lost their mind. Escape is doing what they can in order to try and get this fight going, but they're going to get exhausted. Or he's going to get taken down. Escape is gone. That is all of the damage on the side of RLS taken away. The inhibitor is going to fall.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the rematch, the remake of the trickle-down economics versus Universal Basic Income, the conversation of really who has the best economic ideals. My name is Escape, and I am joined today by Brendan.
I am finally back from my time off of being a caster. I've been scouting. I've been on the Death Star. I have the secret techniques right now on what YUBI is supposed to draft. So let's see if I'm right about any of them. Right now,
well, I mean, right now,
best one thing. That's my pick.
Yeah, no, I think there's some potential for that right now. I mean, obviously, YUBI taking away those big Mizusa pickups. We've seen Mizusa have success on all three of those champions. I don't know if we've seen the Kale come out yet in FOF proper, but as a lot of the teams that have been like looking at this team's account, because obviously this is a team that you got to scout. Trickle Down Economics and Universal Basic Income, two top class teams right now this season. Is that
God, they actually did it. They actually did it. They actually did it.
The first lock Vayne.
So I was talking to Jeff about this because I wanted to actually appear like I'm intelligent on cast, and I asked him for some details, and he said that we're going to Ego first pick Vayne against TDE. Can't believe he actually did it. Psychopath. I cannot believe the Lollytics master, draft god himself, utility monster actually allowed this to happen.
All right, well, they're going to have to be playing around that one. Obviously, Vayne, difficult champion to pilot, but we've seen Jeff God Gamer do it before into lesser ADC players. And have a lot of success on that champion. Obviously, you can get back into the game nice and comfortably. Other side, Zenzen, locking in that Shen. Obviously, that's going to be going into the top lane. Zenzen is very happy to play a very selfless role in that top lane, playing on those tanks, playing on somebody that can do protection, and Shen can do both.
Yeah, it's really how they play. Zenzen's really a plug kind of player in the top lane. Of course, he's not always been a top laner. He's usually a mid laner. He usually plays around the style where he makes up for the mistakes and the shortcomings of this team's draft.
Ooh, and the Kayn lock-in for Leaves is interesting. And that instant lock-in for Red as well. Look at those quick locks across the map. Both these teams know what they want to look for right now. The Mordekaiser and the Sejuani. I want to go back to Kayn, though. Leaves. See, somebody normally plays those really, really heavy ganking junglers. And obviously, Kayn doesn't fall out of that pool exactly. Kayn wants to get online as soon as possible with those transformations. But you expect when I think Leaves, I think of somebody who goes into your lane and kills you, and I don't associate that with Kayn, but it is a champion that Leaves is relatively proficient on, has used it a lot outside of FOF. I don't know if this is its first appearance for Leaves, but I'm very interested to see how they want to make that Kayn work, whether it's going to be going a Rost or Blue build. I can't think of what the actual name for that, and Nivea is also locked in for Mizusa.
Yeah, so I think Leaf's actually a really good carry jungle, which is like one of a dying breed now. Carry jungles is really hard to pull off right now, and we're going to see the exact opposite pull of Utility Monster and Leaves. The difference between the two styles is Utility Monster is going for Sejuani, a utility style, jungler, while Leaves is going for that carry style with that Shadow Kayn. I'm hoping for a Shadow Kayn again into a Kayn, into a Vayne, excuse me.
Yeah. No, and there's room for that as well. And notably the lock-in from Red there. Going to be going for that Mordekaiser into the Shen. Now, that does give him the ability to duel relatively hard. Mordekaiser as a champion, from what I have been told, I'm not a very proficient top lane player myself, has the ability to really take over lanes if he gets ahead. When you have the ability to keep people in place, there's really nothing you can do about him death roaming you, keeping you off of CS basically permanently. If he can win the 1v1, you're in a lot of trouble. So expect to see Utility Monster going into that top lane relatively early. On the other side, we do see that the Zilean and the Lulu have both been taken away. Both takeaways from Build a Pony and Civillock respectively. Civillock, they've been doing a very good job of playing just about anything that YUBI really needs them to take in the mid lane. The other side of the map, we do see Ultravox being taken off of that Ashe. Very good performance from Ultravox on that Ashe very recently against RLS. And the Malzahar also taken away from, I'm not really sure who. Obviously, Mizusa's already locked in. We do see Bob Joseph most likely locking in that Seraphine.
So I actually have an X for this. I think this is going to be a flex. Of course, you can go Seraphine bot lane. And I think TDE has always saved their support as a counter pick, which is really a unique thing that TDE does in general. This is a flex at the moment. And Seraphine bot, by the way, is so fun to play. So fun.
For sure. No, she has a lot of wave control. She's got the ability to poke. She plays not too dissimilar positioning-wise, but obviously revolving more around your abilities, more around AoE damage. It can feel really satisfying. Seriously, the lock-in of the Vel'Koz, I presume, for Civillock. I don't imagine that'll have to be going on to Build a Pony. Still haven't seen that final lock-in, so there's still technically room for it, but you really want to have something defensive with the Vayne. Civillock, Vel'Koz. Talking about playing anything the team wants. I'm pretty sure he has some of the highest individual champion pickups, Civillock. And it just one more added to the pool.
I can't believe that Vel'Koz is Lollytics approved, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, it's a team that definitely revolves around those stats importantly, and that has to be for Build a Pony. So it is going to be that Maokai locked in, I imagine, in the support role. I don't really see it going anywhere else. This is something that YUBI has used for several seasons at this point, really, ever since Maokai was brought into that support role, since YUBI showed up in FOF back in Season 3. They've been happy to pull out that Maokai just about really any time, whenever. And the Senna potentially being locked in.
No way.
They are going to take it, so I know which composition Brendan is now cheering for.
I actually think this is on purpose. Like, I'm tilted, and Spencer, you got it.
Yeah. Now that the tilt is already there, so I'm curious to know which one of those two is going to be farming. I imagine it's going to be that Seraphine for Ultravox. Have a very interesting composition on the side of TD. I really don't know how it's going to work together. There's a lot of strong individual pieces. It's going to be about how TD wants to form them together and whether they're going to play towards side lanes, team fights. They have the ability to do a lot of different things. Obviously, that Anivia can take center lane really, really well controlled. On the other side, Universal Basic Income really look like they want a team fight. They've got that Sejuani, they've got that Maokai for frontline, and some big damage dealers behind. So we'll have to see what these two teams do end up putting together as we connect on into the Rift. And moving forward from there, we're going to have a little bit of spare time as these teams do get on into the Rift. So if you guys want to connect yourself to the FOF magazine, you're going to have a little bit of time just before that first wave spawns to get yourself in there. There's a lot of interesting information in there this week. I think we might have lost Brendan on that one. A bit unfortunate. Just standard 5 point from both of these teams so far. Actually, not completely standard. We do see a little bit of aggressive positioning on the side for JeffGod Gamer. I think that this one will mainly just relax. So big focus for this game at the moment is going to be what Leaves is going to be able to do with these early games. Obviously, Kayn is a champion that can get off the ground very quickly if you have a very successful early game. But I am curious to see where the priority is going to be.
One of the downsides of both YUBI and TDE, they're usually 5 point style teams, and with the locking of the Kayn, I think it's really important to get a ward on his Raptor, whether he starts on the red side of the game or on the blue side, because Kayn usually, I would say 50% of the time, always starts Raptors, just because he can clear it in less than a second, really, with his Q start.
Yeah, it's going to be, yeah, obviously tracking that's going to be relatively huge. We did have a brief conversation about where that Senna and Seraphine were going to go, so it looks like it's going to be farming Seraphine with that starving Senna in the bot side. It's also going to be Bob Joseph playing on that traditional marksman character that is the Senna. And I'm curious to know kind of how that's going to evolve. Is Ultravox practiced on this pick? More interestingly, is Bob Joseph practiced on playing the position that you really need to have in order to play a champion that, you know, that is like Senna? So that's going to be something to look forward to as the game goes longer. I think that this bot lane will kind of devolve into a little bit of a farm fest. There's not too much kill power on a Vayne generally, especially into the double heal, but there's also not too much CC on the side of TDE, so I don't know that they're going to be able to pressure anything too early.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see how Bob Joseph does pilot this kind of rat champion that is Senna, of course. It plays a lot differently from the champions that he usually plays. I think Bob Joseph is easily... Him and Leaves are the playmakers of TDE, and with him not being on a playmaker, I'm trying to really see where the plays come from.
Yeah, we knew that top lane was going to be volatile, and here it is. Red and Zenzen going back and forth with that heavy trade damage. Zenzen already taken so low, going a little bit too long with this extension. I feel like the flash is burnt red. Taken very low from that tower shot. These two are both going to get out on just under 100 HP, and no kills are going to be picked up. Jeff God Gamer taking a beating bot lane.
Yeah, actually, not ironically, the rat champion known as Senna is actually really good into Vayne early, just because, especially fasting Senna, because it doesn't have to focus on farming. You gotta just auto every single time Vayne tries to go for a minion, and of course you can just heal up with a simple Q.
Yeah, and just has that control over the laning phase. Obviously, Senna doesn't have that glacial augment option anymore, so this is going to be... we do see a little bit of fleet footwork. This time it is going to be Grasp. Now, Grasp has been around for a little while. I've always really enjoyed whenever I have the opportunity to go Grasp Senna personally. I know you're not going to be happy to hear that one, but I like it. It lets Senna trade really effectively. It lets her play very, very aggressive, lets her scale up into those later stages, and it gives her some big advantages. So if you can make it work and still be successful, it's very, very, very powerful. As these junglers are basically finishing up their alternate clears, they're basically diagonally clearing from one another. Utility Monster is still getting up on those final camps. Meanwhile, Leaves, unsurprisingly, is ahead on this clear speed. I think it's going to be very relaxed until we start seeing some objectives start to fall between these teams. So I think really where we're going to start seeing stuff is outlaning, solo kills, wherever that might come. That's where the first big kill this game is going to come through, but there's still a lot of pressure going down that bot side.
Really interested to see the interaction between Sejuani and Mordekaiser, as we're going to see a tiny noodle fight here.
Yeah, the damage is coming through, but that's a huge wave there, Red. I don't think you want to try and contest that one at all if you don't have to. Obviously, Utility Monster was there if that trade went awry, but it looks like that's just going to be another recall pulled for Zenzen. Nope, maybe not.
Okay. Is he going to sit in the... Alright, so the words, what I was saying earlier, Sejuani really wants a melee-style top laner. Back on this passive,
Yeah,
we're going to see a gank
kind of
here.
like this, huh? Yeah, okay, so here comes the engagement. Red has already burnt all the cooldowns. Zenzen trying to get away. Leaves is on pursuit, though. Do they have the ability to lock down Zenzen? They can stun him up so quickly. There's a stun coming through. Zenzen's already taken so low. The shield comes through to save him, but that Q does finish him off. Red picking up that first kill.
I didn't even get my words in time so I can seem like a prophet. I was going to say that Sejuani has to gank this Mordekaiser before level 6, just because of the anti-synergies between Mordekaiser kidnapping people into his little dungeon, and... But you got the gank off before that, yeah. You got the gank off before that, and really perfect timing. I think even Leaves expected this as well. That's why he's up there, but just a little too slow.
Yeah, Leaves was on the right side of the map for it, but it was just a little bit too late, like you're saying, and Zenzen does get picked off. It's not going to be too huge in the terms of putting Shen behind, but like I said, you can't... If you cannot 1v1 the Mordekaiser you're dealing with, this Mizzou's actually taking a very nice trade into Civillock, who's quite low on mana right now. Mizzou's having some decent control in this mid lane right now, but is down significantly on CS. And I think that's what you got to start looking at right now. Those two champions scale incredibly hard, but Vel'Koz always has the range advantage. I think if Nivea can get close enough, start to harass. So we do see engaged right now onto Jeff God Gamer. Pushed back and knocks Bob Joseph into the wall. I think that might be the extent of the trade, but do they know that Utility Monster is here? There's no wards in the river right now. There's the engage immediately from Bill the Pony, grabbing that root. The flash is already down for this center right now. He's taken so low. The ignite is still ticking. Bob Joseph surely to fall. Ultravox flashing away from Utility Monster. That is going to be a kill picked up for the Vayne of Jeff God Gamer.
This is really, really huge for YUBI. Getting this Vayne ahead, getting this Vayne impactful is really going to be important for this team. I think on the side of TDE, the only really gankable lane at the moment is bot lane. So if your Vayne is ahead and you're ganking into a Vayne that it's going to 2v3 you, it's going to be a fight right here.
And if you can't 1v1 the Mord, then you can't do too much in this lane. Red picks up the second kill. This one is so low.
That feels so bad. Unfortunately, we were talking about this earlier, that Zenzen is really a plug where he tries to fix the shortcomings of the team's draft, and they're picking him Shen. They pick Mordecai, who's really, really good into Shen, and you're seeing that finally Red is punishing that kind of style of play from TDE drafts.
I love Bill just dropping the sapling over the wall there. You know that Kayn is going to try and gank you through those walls, and that's a great opportunity there. Kayn is similar to Fiddlesticks and how you have to try and ward against him, especially level 6 Fiddlesticks, and how he can jump over walls. Civillock potentially in a bit of trouble there, but doesn't look like there's just too much mana for the Anivia of Mazuza. But, you know, if you have those saplings that you can chuck into any position, you can ward out those ganks really effectively, and I think that's something that Maokai does that I want other supports to do. Obviously, Maokai is traditionally set to be a top laner or a tank. We've seen him in jungle in the past. It's been a little bit of a while since we've seen that. Seen him more popular in support thanks to YUBI. But the idea that he can set things up to work, you know, if you've already gotten position of something, Maokai can help you keep it. Doesn't necessarily pressure into areas very effectively. Obviously, the ultimate can start to get you there. It's a very slow-moving projectile. Teams can deal with it. But once you have control of something, it's very difficult to get the Maokai off of it. I think it makes him play very, very interestingly and a very good use of the ability. I'm really appreciating that Chris has decided to point this up. There are 4 tiers currently, lots of scaling on the side of TDE.
There's no way that that's approved by Lolalytics. About the 4th time that I mentioned it so far, by the way. So while we have a tiny bit of downtime right here, as Mazuza has 0 mana, I think he's going to have to back soon. Who do you think, Spencer, so far is the early MVP, since the round robin is finally starting to wrap up here?
Oh yeah, no, we're in our final stages now. We've gone through our round robin at this point. This is game number, I believe, 7 for all of these teams today. This is when they're starting to play their week 1 opponents once again. And start to say, like, okay, this is how much we've improved. We've seen some surprising stars, you know. I remember saying day 1, Pandas with Hats was rated as the worst team in the league. No one was expecting Pandas with Hats to have any sort of success, and they really have. They've been a really strong team. Mainly Pilot, I want to say Think That I Can really has done a good job with that team and getting them into the position that we are. We've seen Wash perform a lot better than I think a lot of people expected. Obviously, they were a last-minute entry. So it's very cool to see how well Wash has done and how well they've improved as a team. We know that they are a team that has been successful as solo queue players in the past, taking some time off, and now they're back playing as a team now, and it's a very different setting, and they have grown into it really nicely. So I'd say those are the 2 teams, obviously both midfield teams, but 2 teams that I personally think have done an amazing job so far this season. So you do see Utility Monster coming down to the spot side. There is, once again, no vision at all. We might see a dive potential here. Maokai does have the ultimate, so you can force things under the turret here. As Utility Monster has looped around the corner, they might be showing their hands here. Mazuza and Leaves are both not on this bot side at the moment, but it looks like it's just going to be disengaged, and Build the Pony and Utility Monster are going to make their way into Leaves' jungle, and they might just find something.
Kayn's has his wolves right now, so he's in the ability to cut up. They're going to invade. Wow, this is kind of over-aggressive at the moment.
Civillock is there. Bob Joseph trying to find a route somehow. Is actually a really good play there to get him desynchronized from his team right now. As now the engage comes on to Bob Joseph. He's taken so low already. So, both of them incredibly low HP. Utility Monster picks up the first kill. The second one grabbed by Civillock. And that blue buff has created a fight that has just given YUBI an even bigger lead right now. Just shy 2.5k gold lead at this 9-minute mark. And they have full control of the Rift.
Oh, Spencer, seeing this Senna go 0-2-0 it feels great. I'm really glad.
It's exactly where Brendan wants that Senna to be at the moment. Obviously, you know, it's not where TDE really wants it. That Seraphine has had such a hard time finding any sort of success in this bot lane right now. It's 10 minutes in. 2.8k gold is really not much. You expect to see people kind of in the mid-3 ranges at this point. That's where most of YUBI is. Obviously, they have the kill advantages on their side for the most part. Civillock had a very controlled mid lane right now, sitting with a 500 gold advantage right now over Mazuza. And it is a little bit concerning because even though there's a great scaling option of both Senna and Seraphine on the side of TDE, Vayne is Vayne. Vayne never stops dealing tons of damage as you go into later stages, and it is something that they are going to have to be worried about.
One of the reasons earlier that I brought up who do I think is the MVP of this league so far, and personally, as I talked about this a couple times in the green room, as I think it's actually Civillock, the mid laner for YUBI, who has usually been quote-unquote the weak spot of YUBI, if there has been a weak spot. This season, so far, he's been easily the brightest spot. I mean, just look at the lane difference at the moment, just accumulating this kill. He's up 18 CS at the moment, and he is perfectly held this lane. He's pushed Nivea in, which is really, really hard once you get to the 6. Nivea is really good at pushing the lane.
Difficult to consistently find those pushes. Yeah, no, and I've talked to YUBI about, like, you know, this difference that Civlock is showing this year. They're playing, I feel, a much bigger role than before, whereas before it was very like, okay, we're going to put you on somebody to enable somebody else. Really, Civlock has been the one who has been enabled in some of these games previously, and I think a lot of that comes down to how YUBI has changed their philosophy around how they're playing. They feel very confident giving the keys to Red and saying, okay, you should go and carry this game. They feel very fine with, you know, taking some agency away from bot lane in order to put it into one of their solo lanes, and as a result, we've seen this big step up from both Red and Civlock this year. And they both look very, very strong. And it is kind of testament to the fact that YUBI has made changes and they've been very successful. And look at where they are right now. They were undefeated for a really long time, only falling to New Wave Tsunami right now. And against TDE, who's a very strong league in the very strong team in the league at the moment, they are looking in full control for the first 11 or so minutes.
Yeah, I think this game right here is actually the fight for who is the first place. Who is going to end in the first place in a lot of the power rankings. I would personally put these two teams as the best teams in the league at the moment. I slightly have TDE edging out Baby, even though I could be biased in this.
Ooh. Hold on, Utility Monster trying to look for something. There's obviously room for a dive right now on the bot side. They have enough CC to try and go for something, but it looks like it's just going to be Ocean Drag. Excuse me, it says Ocean in the top corner there, excuse me. That is an Infernal Drag going to be picked up right now by YUBI. I don't think there's too many ways that TDE can really contest this.
So, YUBI has been a team throughout this entire season that's usually been behind in gold lead, and especially in Dragon tempo. And this is one of the first games all season where they are ahead of gold in the early game, and they are ahead in Dragon tempo.
Aggressive trading there from Bob Joseph. Might get himself caught out at the moment. Build a Pony looking for some way to find that Senna, find an engage there. Doesn't look like it's going to come through. Look at YUBI just crossing the map and taking both objectives off to either side. Red happy to pick up that Rift Herald, and looks like that is going to cause Zenzen some problems in this top lane. So that's going to be an easy way to drop that first turret. Ooh, Jeff getting caught a little bit there. The CC does come through. It's half HP onto the Vayne. But I think Bob Joseph and Ultravox are going to call it quits right there, as they do actually continue to pursue this. Vayne is taken down to about 300 HP. There's the ultimate landing right there from Ultravox. Jeff God Gamer taken very low, but has been able to heal up with the Summoner heal. Zenzen is here now. Bob Joseph trying to turn on to build a pony. There are 4 members of TDE in this bot lane. And the first kill for TDE is going to go to Zenzen. But we do see YUBI has roamed down. Are they going to try and use their 80 carry as bait right now? Bob Joseph playing very aggressively to try and deal with this Vayne. Do they sniff it out? No, not at all. Great flash from Bob Joseph to get out of the Sejalt. And now, 4 people still committed to this bot side right now. Mizuza dealing with the wave in the top side right now, trying to keep Red off the turret right now. Jeff God Gamer is taken so low, flashing back forward, killed by Leaves, and now they're on top of Civlock, who has to try and get away from that fight, desperately burning the flash to get away. Red has decided that Leaves will fall for their crimes, and that will be the kill. Surely picked up on the Kayn right now. Zenzen's trying to get around to save his jungler, but it's not going to happen. Leaves goes down to Red. Jeff God Gamer getting a little bit greedy, a little bit hot on the keyboard maybe, and does go down.
Yeah, I think Jeff God actually was playing a little bit over aggressive there. I think that the TDE strategy of committing so much into this bot lane play, we're just getting the Maokai. I think that on the side of YUBI, you're going to take that, but they kept trying to fight, they kept forcing, and finally TDE gets their maneuver, and that's really big for TDE at the moment when they're this far behind. Getting 2 kills just for 1 is a huge win for you.
Yeah, no, if you have the opportunity to get those trades when you're this far behind, you take them. Bob Joseph, unfortunately, is going to be the sacrificial lamb, I believe. Or no, it was Leaves that went down. Did Bob Joseph go down earlier in the fight? I don't remember the 3rd death. Maybe I'm a little bit desynced on that one. But yeah, no, obviously, if you can take trades like that, you find those kills, put that Vayne further behind. Burning Civlock's flash should leave them open to the potential for getting ganks in that mid lane. So it's a little bit concerning. You know, there's room for TDE to start to get a foothold, whereas before it felt like YUBI was kind of untouchable. And that is their first slip up.
There was a little weird interaction there, actually, as Mizuza TP'd to the top lane to catch the wave from Shen TPing down, and this actually made it so she could, Mizuza could hold the tower top lane, but then they could not TP into the bot lane fight when Mordekaiser did that. So it was actually a 4v5, and then it turned into a 4v3 at some point.
Yeah, and then the Mordekaiser shows up to try and even out the score. It was a good play from Red there. Was not able to answer on that top side was Mizuza. I think probably just had to burn so much to keep Red off that turret. That Mordekaiser is enormous right now, sitting at 3-0, 140 CS nearly picked up at the 15-minute mark right now. Red is looking so strong.
It's so odd to see YUBI as a team who was customarily, unfortunately, putting their top laner in situations where they were usually the utility style in the past, like Freelancer was usually a Maokai one trick really. I hope that he heard that. I hope he's here just for the little poke at him. But now YUBI is really a top-centric team where they put Red in situations where he can carry, like you said earlier.
Yeah, no, they've been happy to just get him started and then leave him alone, let him grow. Let him come into his spring and just bloom during summer. And those mid-game team fights has been where Red has consistently come online and been so strong. Pretty much every game, like you say, that we've seen out of YUBI so far, Red has been a consistent performer in that top lane and has been able to get this team into good positions, even though, like you say, they've had some weaker early games right now. Looks like there's going to be a short trade in the bot lane. Do they know that the Kayn is there? And you were talking about Kayn transformations. How do you feel about Ross this game?
So I was hoping for, originally in Champions Select, that I was going to get a Shadow Kayn and a Blue Kayn just to take out this Vayne and Vel'Koz. I still think that's the better play, just because I think that Shadow Kayn is much easier to get. Oh, we're going to see a little fight here. I think it's fine, though. I don't think that anything happens. But as I was saying, I think that I prefer Shadow Kayn just because I think that's really, really important to kill the Vel'Koz or the Vayne on the side of YUBI.
Yeah, I think that maybe the counter argument for Leaves right now is just saying, like, hey, if I want to try and get to that back line, I have to try and get through a Maokai, I have to get through Sejuani, and more importantly, I have to deal with the Death Realm potentially coming down on me. There's going to be a lot of situations where that jungler is going to be the focus for that suppression option. Obviously, taking away that smite is super valuable as we're going into Dragon number 3 in just 5 seconds right now. It doesn't look like TDE can contest.
In particular, when it comes to YUBI's draft, I really, really love this Maokai pick, by the way. I think Maokai is incredible into Kayn. I think it's incredible into the Rat champion known as Senna. I think it's also really good into Shen, oddly enough. I really like the tree pick, actually.
The tree pickup for Bill?
For Bill, actually. Just because I think it's actually really good into Senna, just because Senna is one of those few champions where she does poke and then she escapes with her little dusk. I don't remember the name of it, but... And you can actually, there's a timing where you can root into that. And, you know, getting Senna with any CC really is a dead champion, just because of how low her HP is. And of course, Kayn is such a slippery champion. So having Maokai really is, as you said, a pretty big deterrent for going Shadow Kayn, just because he can root you into that W as Kayn. And once you are rooted, his HP is very, very low if you are Shadow Kayn.
Yeah, has the ability for the vulnerability there. Right now, I think TDE is doing a really good job of just slowing this game down, trying to play as... regressed and risk adverse as they can right now. Obviously down 3.5k gold basically at this point, so or nearly actually reaching the 4k gold mark. But you know, you have to slow this game down. You don't have a choice. Obviously Seraphine and Senna are going to scale unbelievably well into the later stages. Jeffcott Gamer actually does get caught by the root. There's the wall. The ultimate also pushed. They're trying to get on top of the Vayne. There's so many cooldowns burnt, and they still cannot find Jeff God Gamer, having to burn that flash and that heal, but is able to get himself to safety right now. There's a root on top of the build. The Pony, who actually will just go down instantly there. There's so much burst from the 4 members of TDE, and they're looking for this mid turret. With that objective bound, it could be a nice gold injection, but Civillock is here for the clear.
It's always been a slight problem so far with Bill, where Bill just randomly dies for no reason other than doing Bill the Pony things. But we're trying to, you know, Spencer, people used to call me Mr. Brightside in high school. So I'm going to look on the bright side of TDE.
Yeah. What happened?
How do you stall? How do you stall and stay in this game? They have the queen of stalling, the bird. Nivea, it's almost impossible, really, to push in on the side of YUBI into a Nivea. You're just going to go permanent wave clear. Also, as you said earlier, Senna, the Rat champion, and wow, I'm blanking on her. Seraphine are really, really good scaling champions, and Nivea is a good scaling champion. So they have the ability to wait it out.
Yeah, the Shen is going to do pretty well as you go later. Obviously, Kayn can run into some issues. A lot of what the champion does is revolve around just being able to survive those later fights, and as damage gets higher, that gets very difficult. But, you know, I think that there's going to be room for this Kayn to scale into those later stages a little bit better because this Ross, obviously, there's some back and forth there. You have the higher damage with the less survivability and the less CC. I think CC is always going to scale better. If there's a chance you're going to be inconsistent right now. It looks like YUBI's looking for a big trade. Bob Joseph taking solo. The flash already comes through. There's the Shen ulti. That Bob Joseph is so hard to kill. Dawning Shadow over the top. Bill the Pony the first to fall. And it looks like TDE is going to take that 5v5 with Grace as Zenzen going back in. Bob Joseph once again the focus, but they still can't find the Senna. Utility Monster having to flash away, barely escaping with a sliver of HP. And Civillock is continuing to chunk down YUBI's front line. YUBI's back line. Red falls to Leaves. And TDE finally takes a map.
This is huge right here. Baron's going to be up. I think they can get another kill on Clovis right here.
Ooh, there's some room for Civlock to fall. We are going to have to go back and watch this quick replay. We'll see the other part of that a little bit later. Will be featured in a later part of this game, just like Joshi is featured in the FOF Connect today, but it all starts off with Bob Joseph just getting caught out a little bit there, and that immediate Dawning Shadow. We talked about how would these champions scale, and because of that shielding that you have between the Senna and the healing as well from the Senna and the Seraphine, it's so difficult to actually kill TD if you can't focus all on one target. YUBI is lucky to only escape with 2 deaths there.
One of the supreme OP parts of the Senna champion is that if you do not kill Senna immediately, the healing and the shielding that she provides, look at how healthy this team is now. Are we going to see? Are we going to see Veloc's fire?
No, okay. Done there on the Jeff God Gamer. Hold on, is that actually going to be the pick? Jeff God Gamer cutting back so far. Does go down. Ultravox is able to survive. There's the flash forward from Civlock to pick up the trade kill. Civlock looking just at the very edge of despair right now as Bob Joseph gets engaged on this fight. Never ended. We're going to continue to see that right now as Zen now getting chased down by that big frozen boar. Trying to get away right now. Civlock chucking out those slows the best ability. It was a double kill picked up for that Vel'Koz. Build a Pony goes under turret. Tanking will go down to Mezuzah. And again, just a little bit too high on tempo there. But it is a 4-0 Vel'Koz now for the side of YUBI, which is going to be what they have to play around from now on.
TDE right there, just with the over-aggression, I really feel like they should have tried to turn to the Baron and try to get the Baron in time. Unfortunately, their team does do Baron very slow, so maybe they thought they could not kill it in time, but pressing over turret diving, they get a tower. This is still a huge win for TDE from how far behind they were.
Yeah, I'm happy to see this game get a little bit closer. Obviously, they have started to even up that goal difference right now. It's still sizably in favor of YUBI, but a lot of it is more centered now on that Vel'Koz because those kills, those shutdowns have been picked up. There's still big shutdown left on Civlock, and they're going to have to protect that because giving over that gold to the wrong member of TDE could seriously start to spell disaster. Also, not having those Vel'Koz there for any kind of fight. TDE looking to stance to deal with the soul point right now, and YUBI with room to maybe try and exchange for Baron.
Okay, this is really interesting. TDE was here first, actually. Are they going to... TDE's here first with this big dragon fight. Of course, you know, if YUBI gets this, they're going to get the Dragon Soul. I think that YUBI is pressuring this Baron play.
That was so smart. I love the way that YUBI, like you say, pressuring the Baron play. Hold on, they do find the pick on the Civlock. I was saying if Civlock falls, we're going to run into some serious problems right now for YUBI. The ultimate comes down from Zen to keep Bob Joseph alive. They have killed Civlock, and now Red is on top of Ultravox and will surely fall, but now there's a bunch of extra AP on top of that Mordekaiser. Bill the Pony on top of Leaves, who's dropping very low, will go down to Jeff God Gamer. Oh my goodness, the damage out of Mezuzah trades back onto that Maokai, and the chase goes the other way. They do find the setup onto from Red onto Bob Joseph. And it is a 3-for-3, and the members of YUBI that remain, Jeff God Gamer and Red, try to walk towards the dragon. Do they know that there's the engage coming over the wall right now? Zen has no energy, and Mezuzah, with that blue buff ticking, does have the egg online, trying to keep that Vayne away. There is no flash available. Mezuzah will have to walk away, but it will be soul for YUBI.
Wow, this fight was incredible. I was just going to complain for another 15 minutes about how disgusting the Senna champion is, by the way, from much healing that she put off in that fight, how tanky she was, and how the fact that she survived. And YUBI somehow manages to turn that fight around from, again, a few over-aggressions by TDE on the backside of the fight, and they got this Dragon Soul. Now they need this Baron control, and they're going to try to ask TDE to walk into them, force them to walk into them. Anivia is a champion that's really, really bad walking into other comps. She's a champion that wants to be there first.
Yeah,
so walking into other teams, it's really, really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Bob Joseph right now, and I'm thinking, well, there's the highest deaths on the team right now. There's 90% kill participation, tied for the highest kill participation on the team right now. Trying to buff up that IPS stat, wants to be featured in that FOF Connect in the following week right now. But, I mean, really what it is Bob Joseph has been the focus in a lot of these situations. They're finding those engages onto Senna a little bit too often, I would say. Bob Joseph, we were worried about the positioning from the Senna, whether or not they'd be able to play it effectively. I'm not going to say the answer is no, but I'm saying that there are a lot of Zen, or there's a lot of times where Zen is the one bailing out that Senna and keeping them alive. And as a result, these fights could have gone a lot worse. We could see a lot more deaths right now on Bob Joseph, who really needs to get into the position right now. They're trying to find a pick on the Civlock. Do they know that there are 3 members that's 3v4 currently favoring TDE? Civlock down to half HP. Utility Monster trying to use space to zone off the rest of the team. Civlock taken so low. 200 HP is picked off by Leaves. Now Leaves trying to disengage. There's so much CC stuck inside of Mizusa's ulti, and Red having to use the ultimate to try and keep the team away right now. Jeff God Gamer taken amazingly low. Kill picked up by the Senna of Bob Joseph, and Red is stuck in the middle of 5. TDE picks up a fight, and they will pick up a Baron.
I want you guys to set your eyes on Kane right here. Look how long Kane stalls. Look how long Kane survives this fight, by the way. Look at this HP. This is what's so good about Red Kane, is the fact that you can stall, the fact that you are constantly in this fight, the healing, and they catch out Civlock, who is really, really the most important member on YUBI at the moment. They're going to perfect ult by Leaves. Oh my god. And then he comes in with this Q. Oh my, I cannot believe he actually lives here. What? And we're seeing the Anivia Storm just turn them down, and there's going to be a slight overplay by Jeff, who's trying to 1v5 Vayne spotting like he's Fang over Fang. Insta dead, and this is going to be Baron for TDE.
Yeah, it has to be. The only survivor is Bill the Pony. The one who kind of has been dying in basically all these other fights. This is the first time that Bill has walked away from a fight unscathed, and it's at the cost of the rest of his team. The gold lead has disappeared, and Mizusa on this unkilled Anivia did so much damage with a single ultimate dropped in the dead center, made it so hard for YUBI to reposition. And really that was because Civlock got caught out in the jungle. They didn't know about the numbers advantage. That Seraphine ulti pulled everyone in. And that's job done from that point forward. Now with the Baron buff online, are they going to be able to pick up enough gold to really swing this one far enough into their favor right now? They're looking for this top outer. They can start to look for bot hour, the mid inners. Inners are going to give a lot of gold to this team right now. There's 1,800 gold worth of inner tower sitting on the map for both teams, and this Baron buff is going to start to unlock some of that standing gold onto the teams off of the map. That's going to start coming in with some big item purchases. Right now, Mizusa is the one to watch for TDE.
That is absolutely correct. I wished I could see some healing reduction on the side of YUBI, actually. There's a lot of healing on TDE with the Seraphine.
Mordekaiser with the item. Oh boy.
Oh wait, I actually see it. No, feels so bad. I almost went on the longest tangent. I mean, he's the only one that has it, though.
I don't wanna church talk any of this, but that item is not very gold efficient.
I don't really think it's that good on Mordekaiser either, but I could be wrong.
I mean, yeah, then obviously they're kind of strapped. You know, you don't. I've said it several times on cast before, I'm sure. And again, you ask anybody on RLS, everyone will tell you this. Or most people who play League, it's so much easier to have healing reduction if you can put a chem tech on somebody, because that covers your whole team. It's so gold efficient as a result. That's why we see it picked up right now for Ultravox. To deal with that Mordekaiser, deal with the Vayne with the shield bow, and deal with even Bill, who does have a good amount of regen baked into that kit by default. And that's why it's so high value to pick it up this early into the game. You press 1W, your whole team now has heal reduction, and very, very solid healing reduction. So as a result of not having that enchanter, that kind of is the price you pay. Enchanters are scaling so well into the game right now, partially because of, you know, how strong ADCs are at the moment, but also because of being able to use super high gold efficiency items. Leaves looking for a pick on a Civlock right now. Already taking that half HP. The flash already has to be burned. There's the Seraphine Encore connecting, and there's the Dawning Shadow over the top. Connections on all fronts. That one will be featured.
Encore zooming past, hitting Leaves, hitting Vel'Koz, hitting Bill the Pony. One ulti right there.
Yeah. Everything hit right there, and that is all they needed to use to kill 2 people. We're talking about those inner turrets. There's the first one going down. Zen still yet to be dislodged. Here's the flank from Red. Are they actually going to try this?
Keep in mind, as you said, Shen does have ulti here. He's going to have to try to TP here. I think Red has to kidnap somebody. Who's going to kidnap?
He's stuck on the backside. Does have to try and take something. Doesn't even get the chance. CC'd to death. Mizusa picking up the 5th kill of the game right now. 5-0 in 9 on this Anivia. And, you know, you throw 3 bans at Mizusa, you might just unlock the next monster right now. This Anivia is looking nasty.
Proper laying of the CC to make sure that Mordekaiser could not kidnap you to his dungeon, and this is proper macro as well. You couldn't get the mid tower, so you go into the bot with Shen just pushing the wave, and he didn't have to come because he has ulti, of course. They just layer CC on the Mordekaiser. He's dead, and you take that tier 2 tower, and you back out as a team, hopefully. Oh, are they going to go for the fight here instead?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play with the lack of vision right now. We are 44 seconds off the dragon setup. They do get caught by the Scryer's Bloom right there. 5 people stacked up in that one bush. Could actually be a good opportunity for YUBI right now. TDE yet to reset. They're probably sitting on massive banks at the moment. So maybe this is the chance for them to make a play. The Shen has finished the recall right now as Red TPs into that Pixel Brush. We are 26 seconds away from an Elder Dragon. There is Soul already picked up on the side of YUBI, so they do have those additional stats stacked up. But we talk about this gold lead right now. It's yet to be spent. The only person who has actually been able to use any of the gold that they picked off of that big Baron play that has swung the gold by almost 8k is Zenzen. It's the only person who's been able to do it right now. In 6 seconds off of this respawn right now, Mezuzah unable to get the teleport or the recall teleport in to spend some of that very crucial gold, and Yubi's taking control of the river. Elder Dragon, I don't care how much money you have. Elder Dragon is the swing. Here comes the engage from Ultravox. Lands onto 2 there. The encore stacks. Jeff God Gamer taken very low. There's a massive disintegration ray over the backline there. Bob Joseph and Ultravox taken very low. The first person to fall will be Build the Pony. No, it's Leaves. Immediately followed. Bob Joseph stuck way too far forward right now. And the 3 members of TDE in the middle of the fight right now. Jeff God Gamer running to the backline. Mezuzah going into the egg. Zenzen having to get the disengage done. The egg will fall for Mezuzah's first death. And YUBI breathes some life back into this game.
Yeah, I want you guys to watch this right now. Joshi, by the way, if he's able to watch this, is punching the air. He's uppercutting, haymakers everywhere. They give away this choke point. They give away the entire priority of the river. And this right here, walking into Vel'Koz, walking into this huge disintegration ulti. You watch his damage that he gives off. And right now, Jeff is alive. So he just gets a free hit on people. Does so much damage here. No one can get him. He's going to full HP. Heal off everyone. Bob Joseph is running it down. I don't know what he's doing. Flashes over the wall.
IPS, I'm telling you.
What the hell was he doing? What?
Wants that impact score, wants that feature in the magazine as best as he can. Obviously, IPS is a measurement of your kill participation measured against your total deaths in the team. It is really how much you influence the scoreboard. And right now, I don't think anybody else is leading that score in the current game as much as Bob Joseph is right now. Very high kill participation on that Senna. 6 deaths also picked up. So you know, it's there's some good, there's some bad, but most of the good right now on the side of YUBI right now, who has picked up that Elder, did get it onto their big carries. I think the only person who didn't get it there would have been Build the Pony or Red. I'm not totally sure. But that respawn timer does come through, and it is 300 gold, or 400 gold at this point, separating these two teams. Everything has been brought back to an even state, and we are 30 seconds off of a Baron spawn.
And you want to see the power that I possess? Yo, can I get a soul check on this Rat champion real quick? I want to see how many souls.
I was gonna ask earlier. I am curious. 30 minutes into the game, what are you expecting?
Ooh. I hope it. Oh god, this makes me so sad. Riot, please delete this champion from the game. She has been out. Her positioning has been so bad the entire game.
Yeah, and there's been some missed opportunities. I saw the Krugs, I saw Red Buff go down there without. There's been a lot of souls that Bob Joseph has given away, and yet there is still so much range on that Senna. And it doesn't look like TDE are looking to contest this Baron. I think that's relatively correct. This is going to burn out most of the remaining Elder Dragon on the side of YUBI. Obviously, this is a very early Elder Dragon, 30 minutes into the game. Just about the quickest one you can get your hands on.
Oh, TDE's just going to give this, huh?
Yeah,
okay, with the Elder Dragon buff, yeah.
Yeah. The Elder buff makes it so difficult to contest, and it looks like TDE is just going to, cut their losses. I feel like they really should be pushing these waves out a little bit further, because the further those waves have to walk, the less time that the enemy team is going to be able to pressure you with Baron right now. Like I said, all outer turrets were up for YUBI, and that remains true now that that Baron has been taken. It's going to be how many of them can they pressure, how many of them can they pick up, and how far can they push this Baron buff to give them that lasting advantage that they probably want and need.
Really came making the smartest play that he could by taking the Gromp, because all my time learning and playing with the FOF community, what I learned of is when I get off-roll jungle, the only thing that matters is my Gromp. My team does not matter. Gromp is what matters.
Yep. That's the key crucial. Now, you talked about stalling. Talked about this game slowing down. This Vayne is getting stronger as we go into later stages. This Elder Dragon still yet to time out, will be very, very soon. Did it just fade off? No, it's still going to be there for another 30 seconds, I believe. Maybe a tiny bit less than that. But talked about stalling. Mezuzah on that Anivia, still happy to clear waves. Doesn't matter how purple the minions are. Happy to deal with that. They are going to drop that mid turret at the moment. Don't want to drop this top tower right now. That has been the focus right now. Red getting those minions onto that inhibitor, and it looks like TDE is more interested in trying to preserve what they know they can keep. They know they have to give up an inhibitor, and that's the inhibitor that they're going to give up. But Red looking like he might want to walk this wave towards the Nexus, and now things get a little bit awkward right now as the Elder Dragon does finally time out on the side of YUBI, and they do get the pressure into that top turret. This is very good positional play right now, and a bit of a grouping on the side of TDE as we do find the engage onto Jeff God Gamer. Build a pony, the first to fall from Mizuza. Jeff God Gamer barely kiting back, barely staying alive. This shield bow healing is enough to keep that Vayne in check as the inhib is taken very low. Bob Joseph with the backline play to pick up the kill on the Vayne, and now everything starts to turn backwards right now for YUBI. Civillock trying to slither out of this play. Red caught in the middle of 3.
Wow.
And that is the fight turned.
I cannot believe Kane got to that Vayne there. That knockup by Kane is... That sole knockup by Kane saved the fight there. They got Jeff God. He's inting as well. I think that he's trying to see his IPS score go down or up. I don't even know which one it was. He's dying. Are they going to run it down mid right here? There's no way they can end this game, though.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that they actually just died there, by the way.
I think there's an inhib in this. I think that there's definitely room for an inhibitor. The thing that they have to be worried about is that there are respawn timers coming through. No, they're not going to pressure out. I was going to say the ultimate cooldowns are not currently favoring either team. So you won't run into a big fight at this inhibitor turret, but it looks like they're just going to leave it as is. And the problem that TD is going to be facing is that there is 2 waves super minions going to be pushed in once every 30 seconds into their base. And that is going to be difficult to clear. Obviously, the Anivia can take one of them, but you have to commit another person to one of those side lanes. I imagine that Anivia will be set up in the mid. But those super minions are kind of difficult to deal with. There's not a lot of wave clear on the side of TDE outside of that Anivia. So with those 2 inhibs picked up, it's going to give YUBI a lot of pressure all over this map right now. We're still 2 minutes out from this Elder Dragon, but both those inhibitors are going to be down for that play. And it could make it very challenging for TDE to try and get out of their base and onto the map, especially with, talked about this Maokai, how he can secure areas. It's going to be very good at that here.
Yeah, when it comes to these fights, you really want to watch this positioning from Vayne and Vel'Koz, who both have actually kind of been having spotty positioning so far. They've been getting caught up by Kane a couple times, and the Encore ulti. And if they can stay alive in these really long fights, especially with the healing on the side of TDE, if they can stay alive, there's no way that YUBI can lose the fight right now.
Yeah, no, that's basically the long and the short of it is if you can't kill the damage. But so far, TDE has been able to. Senzen having to take this 1v1 versus the Mordekaiser right as that bot turret does go down. They have not been able to send enough people to try and answer this right now. Senzen, I don't know if you have the wave clear to deal with this. Probably has to call his team back, which is going to leave this bot lane inhibitor open. This is great macro from YUBI, giving the enemy team no good answer. And the problem is that if you want to take this 4v4 engage in the bot lane, it means that you're going to lose the Nexus turret. I think they're going to lose one anyway, just out of indecisiveness here. Mizuza staying committed to this bot side right now. The waves are not in favor of YUBI. Just for a split second, they're able to keep that Nexus turret up. But very good pressure, putting TDE in an awkward spot. And now we're 30 seconds off this Elder Dragon. I don't see how TDE can win if they give that.
YUBI is, again, they clearly been listening to Joshi instead of TDE is not listening to Joshi. They are going to hold this choke point, force TDE to walk into them for this dragon, because they have to contest it, like you said. So watch this fight here. Let's see if Leaves can get an engage on Vayne here. If they cannot, I don't know. It might be hopeless. He got it before, though.
The vision toggles are terrifying at the moment. TDE looks like they're going to try and find a way through the mid rush right now. Bob Joseph over the wall, does find the route. Leaves is already taken solo, does grab the ulti there. The Encore hits one, breaking the Banshee from Civillock right now. Utility Monster goes down. There's no smite available right now on the side of YUBI as they are trying to find the re-engage onto Red. Look at how TDE have taken this fight. Jeff God Gamer trying to kite back as effectively as possible. Has been CC'd up, has been taken down into the resurrection there of the GA. 1v4, tries to flash away. Senzen missing the taunt. Is that enough for Jeff God Gamer? No, cannot turn it. And it's just Civillock left. There are super minions pushing into TDE's base, but they have the priority for that Elder.
This Kane, by the way, goes into every single fight and stalls for so long. It heals for so long. Watch his leave. He comes. You're gonna. I wish I could have this red circle on this Kane right here. He's going to jump in 1v4, laughs at the Sejuani, and is in and tanking this fight, waiting for his team to come up and follow up right now. They're going to be walking into this Chaos Storm from the Anivia. Huge stun by Senna, and the Encore that pops through every single person. Utility Monster goes down, and perfect positioning by the backline of TDE that's forcing their front line of YUBI to come into them and forcing that YUBI backline to not hit anyone. Huge knockup right there. That's actually like an MVP moment, by the way. I'm not sure if people like watch sports, you know, we all play League of Legends, so we're all kind of lame, but the Heisman moment or the MVP moment in traditional sports is usually the big moment that saves a team or saves in a game. And for me, right there, that knockup by Kane is the MVP moment for his case.
Talking about MVPs for the team, I think least valuable play right now is the fact that healing reduction has still barely been picked up on the side of YUBI, and it's showing. It's so hard to kill Leaves. He's been able to survive so well. There's the flash burnt out of Civlock as well as the Ghost, and that doesn't even answer the fact that they are giving over the Elder Dragon, and somehow TDE was able to weather that storm, and now they have a few minutes to breathe right now, but it might not take that long. There is 20 seconds on the Baron spawn right now. There's going to be inhibitors coming back onto the map very, very soon. The final waves are getting put out from both of these turrets of those super minions, and Mezusa is there to clear them. So can TDE get onto the map? I think they just win the fight at Baron if they have the opportunity, but how do they keep YUBI out of their base?
This is the least Elder Dragon ever, by the way. I think it's died 2 times now. This is no longer Elder Dragon. This is Young Boy Dragon. He's like, let my guy live for a little bit, man. He needs some kids. Like, he doesn't have a 401k. Like, this is tough. He's getting paid FWF salary at the moment.
Yeah. No, he's just there to see the other team succeed, and right now it is starting to swing things a little bit. So there's a little bit of a timer in that top lane right now. We have not been cleared out. All those super minions have not been cleared out at the moment right now. There's some poke coming in for Civlock. Boy, that Q hurts. Mezusa taking a little bit low, but obviously there is that healing from the Seraphine, and the Senna is going to be able to keep that Anivia relatively safe. The team fighting quality from the side of TDE over these last few fights has been very, very, very strong. You talked about the positional advantage, separating YUBI and making it very difficult for them to make this composition work. Their composition requires the Vel'Koz and the Vayne to be able to deal damage. The hardest thing that those two champions cannot do together is kite forward, right? Puts Vayne in a very awkward position a lot of the time, puts Vel'Koz in an even more awkward position, somebody who wants to stand still and be kind of a sentry turret. And as a result, it's made these team fights really, really weird, and TDE is going around the YUBI composition correctly and making it difficult for YUBI to just deal damage, even if they're not directly inflicting what those champions could do, as we now, everyone sees that there is 5 champions moving towards this Baron now that they got that mid control. They made sure, hey, we still have Elder Buff online, we're trying to keep things away. Utility Monster needs to make a big play right now to try and steal this Baron right now. 3.4k HP. We will see whether or not the engage is going to come through in time. Zen finishes off the Baron. Do they find the re-engage here? They still have that Elder buff ticking. Do they want to try and find this fight? Do they want to find a turret? What do they want to do at the moment? Looks like YUBI has retreated back to the mid lane, whereas TDE are going to try and pressure down this top lane. You have the Baron minions. I think YUBI has to answer this.
They're going to have to fight eventually. They cannot give up everything, and you're going to see that this Senna is going to start hitting away from galactic range with this freaking souls at the moment. And when every single one of these fights, there's 2 things that you really need to watch. You need to watch this Vayne, and you need to watch this Kane for how long that this Kane is healing wounds. It's like a therapist, by the way. He's just healing every single wound that is possible at the moment.
Yeah, big stacks right now on the Senna as there is a lot of poke coming through. There's a good pickup there from Red to try and find some sort of an engage. Talk about the Seraphine auto attack range for a minute. They're stacking up on all those allies and being able to just hit turret from so far away. Utility Monster has found a vision pocket though, is trying to find a way to flank in on this backline. It's going to be the best way for YUBI to find an advantage right now, as they do have that mid lane pushing into their favor. It will start to move back. These Baron minions, this siege is so powerful from TDE, and they're playing it nice and slowly. They're not getting over aggressive. They're not getting impatient. This turret will go down on this wave. Pressure in from TDE, and now they're going to look at this top inhibitor right now. Look at Utility Monster's positioning. They're not doing anything but the Sejuani, who has the ability to just pick up a quick ultimate onto any target he wants, but they do not pull the trigger. It's just the inhib picked up for TDE, and this 40-minute game has looked close from minute 15 forward.
Spencer, please tell me we're not getting another young boy dragon. This
we
poor
are.
dragon, man.
We are. We're gonna wait
another
another
one,
2
or is this the second one?
This would be the third one if the game goes that long. Yeah.
Oh, dude, this poor dragon, man. Let my guy live for at least 1 minute. That's what I need. I think in a minute for that dragon, he can have some kids. Like, I feel like he can, maybe he can pump out a couple.
Yeah, just get a few onto the field. Maybe get, there's the soul already picked up for YUBI right now. If we leave the Elder Dragon around for a little bit, maybe TDE can start looking for a soul point of some kind. Maybe they'll get something different. Maybe we'll get Hex Gates on this map that also has the extra terrain. That'd be kind of interesting. But nobody's giving any time for the dragon repopulation. Obviously, an endangered species. Please, everyone, stay away from those. And especially in games against me, I will get you arrested. No, it is just going to be those Elder Dragons that is going to be dictating this game, as the Baron buff is still online for a very short amount of time, but they're going to try and get some mid-tower damage right now. I like answering these lanes where you have the open inhibitor turrets first. Very, very smart from TDE. They know that they don't have, or that they do have the numbers advantage right now. Red, up in that top lane, might end up just subsiding the inhibitor here. Very, very safe. I like the way TDE is deciding to make these plays, not putting themselves in too much trouble. Do they know Utility Monster is on the side, though? Has room for a very good engage. There is the flank ward in place. Look at Bill the Pony moving with this jungler right now. They found the engage onto Zen Zen. This is dangerous. If you don't kill him instantly, you're going to run into serious problems right now as the base race has begun. Zen Zen has pushed the entire team away. Are TDE going to try and pressure for this? There's so much damage immediately onto Ultravox right now. I don't know if they can go for this play. I think that they've weathered the storm in the bot lane right now, but they might find the engage. They're very spread out right at the moment. Bob Joseph already taken down very low. The ultimate is already burned right there, but look at how much healing there is. The whole team walks away under a veil of shielding. And you would think that they have the Mountain Soul, but they do not at the moment. The inhib was picked up. There's the pull in onto Bob Joseph. Leaves goes in, tries to find a kill. The Jeff God Gamer, who does flash out of the Encore. And it looks like it's just going to be the Maokai ultimate coming out. No, Leaves is going deep for that backline. The Zhonya's is ticking right there. The stopwatch, there's so much shielding from Zen Zen. Mezusa running away from Red in the Death Realm. That Leaves is able to escape and now jump onto Red, who's trying to deal with Mezusa right now. The egg is popped. It is low health bars for TDE. Utility Monster goes in, finds the kill. 1,000 gold shuts down, put on to Vel'Koz as now they try to kite backward. Elder Dragon spawning in 5 seconds, and it looks like YUBI will have map position. There are massive death timers on the side of TDE, and I don't know how they can deal with this right now. Utility Monster facing Bob Joseph head on. But it looks like Bob Joseph will be able to escape with the Blast Cone, try and clear that pink ward off of the play here. But there are 4 members of YUBI up at the moment. How do you contest this? These 2 bot lane carries out of TDE are here. But look at this. The Nexus turrets are falling. We've got Baron coming up relatively soon as well. They have been desynced on the timers, but there will still be a Baron online for YUBI if they can keep it here. Dawning Shadow cannot take this. It is a smart call from TDE to walk away. And you were talking about dragon stacking. This is just almost Elder Dragon Soul point here.
Can't believe that Utility Monster finally found the engage. That was really, really smart by him, actually wrapping around, going in and flash queuing on, getting I think it was about 2 to 3 knockups, getting that kill. And we are dragon stacking, man. This dragon, by the way, is an Elder. We are killing Umbrios at the moment.
Yep, there's
Umbrio Elder Dragon.
This is the dragon count in the top isn't exactly accurate. It says it's 4 to 0 right now, and it is actually in fact 6 to 1. It's one of those crazy games. It was a very fast soul, very, very high elder count. This game has been even from for the last 35 minutes, I would say. Basically untouchable, these two teams, these very big scaling compositions. It is all on the back of Civiloff and Jeff God Gamer to try and keep their team alive in these fights. Utility Monster is so tanky at this point. Most of the builds have been finished from everyone in this game. There are a couple slots that are being reserved for control wards, but that is about the limitation. There is huge vision scores all across the board, and it looks like there's going to be some big champions walking into this mid lane right now. They cannot save this middle inhibitor, but, you know, there's not much infrastructure on the side of YUBI either right now. They are going to have the respawn timers for their inhibitors coming up relatively soon. Obviously, Baron is relatively in tandem with it. There's going to be a couple more super waves coming out, although looks like there's going to be no more in that top side at the moment. It was the inhibitor that was taken first. We're imagining that that mid lane is going to continue to push in favor of TDE for a little bit now, but that Baron buff is online, and once again, YUBI has the Elder, and it's going to make it impossible for TDE to try and contest this.
YUBI just came into the base of TDE, took their jewels, and dipped off. They went into their house, took a heist, went and killed this worm, by the way. I don't know how many worms have died this game. There's been a lot of murder on this Summer's Rift map this game.
It says 2 to 2 at the moment. Up at the top.
There's
there.
2 to 2 Barons. Wow, so 4 worms have been perished. Yep. The Alaskan worm from SpongeBob is not having a good time. I don't know if the Alaskan worm is also endangered species, but I'm going to put it on there as well.
I think it might be by the time that this game comes to an end right now. 45 minutes, just rolling in the 46-minute mark. TDE playing very defensively in their base right now. They know that they can't afford to walk out too far. The thing that must be hurting them so badly is that there is an open Nexus turret, and that's the only thing standing between them and the win at the moment. It's all it would take is TDE winning 1 fight, getting 1 kill. It doesn't matter, but the same applies to YUBI right now, and TDE want to be the one to get the jump on the gun at the moment. Can't find the engage. They're trying to use some speed to get into their jungle. They knew where one person was, I like the idea. Being the engaging team gives you so much confidence, gives you that mental advantage to be able to take these fights. You have to be careful around Red at the moment. Has those pull-ins. You have to be so cautious of that Mordekaiser's range because that will be the 1-2 when you were stuck in the Death Realm. They very big Mordekaisers. We're rolling into level 18 across the board. The only people not there yet is the support roles of Bill the Pony and Joseph. Hold on, the engage is coming through.
Right,
I think this is just going to zone them off the turret. There's the ultimate landing onto Mezuzah. Already taken down. It's already gone. Ultravox very low HP, getting chased down by the Vayne. Zen yet to, or no, does pop the ulti, but it was completely unused. But look at Lee's on this backline, chunking YUBI down. Red, solo on HP. Jeff God Gamer trying to chase forward. The Condemn pushes Zen off Bill the Pony. Soon to go down. Bob Joseph is so strong at this point in the game, but look at this Vayne! Can't take down the Senna, but they can take down the Nexus turrets. There's the one going down. There's so much damage still alive on the side of YUBI right now. Leaves his regen up to full HP. This Nexus is now available. Jeff God Gamer starting to hit it. It's down to 50% HP. Can they stop this in any way? No, they can't! YUBI takes down TDE for the second time this season.
wasn't Mason Bob Joseph's Anivia bot. So we really wanted to cover all our bases and make Mizusa show us his 4th best champion as promised.
Yeah, this was the battle of the champion oceans. I'm glad that you were able to reach down and pull out the Vel'Koz counter, so to speak, the artillery mage versus the artillery mage. And you played it to great aplomb. I really like the adaptation of the ghost. I think that's something that's underrated. I think they tunneled a little bit too heavily on having the flexibility of the double, the 2.5 teleports, so to speak, if you can factor in Zenzen's ult. I like the flexibility that the ghost gives you is getting in and out on Vel'Koz. So I think you played it exceptionally well in this game. Let's talk about the nature of this game itself. It was back and forth throughout this long war, so to speak, between you two teams. What were your thoughts? What was the team thoughts and communications throughout this game as things ebbed and flowed between the two of you on this, like, I don't know, it's like an 8-dragon game, but it was 4 of them were elders, and then there was 4 barons, I think they were saying at the end of the game. So it was a wild one on the Rift. What were your thoughts on the ebb and flow here?
Yeah, I gotta keep it a spicy one. I mean, I think there were a lot of mistakes made on both sides, but I think to both of our credits, these are very difficult comps to play into each other, in part because both teams are really, really good at counter-engaging relative to engaging. So a lot of this game was dictated by teams not being patient enough and then overreaching. And as soon as one team overreaches, the other team's counter engage is so good that they instantly flip the dynamic of the team fight. That's what you kind of saw with us. We had strong early game control. We stacked Dragon all the way to Soul. And I think I made 2 pretty critical positioning errors, not realizing that, like, I thought I could bait and play at the edge with Flash Ghost, but they had already activated a lot of their core with the Seraphine and the Senna, like, being this engine that's scaling up, and they can deathball. So I didn't really respect that, and I lost 2 really critical fights that evaporated most of our gold lead. But after we made some adjustments as a team, we were able to swing that back and recognize that we can play really calmly, play really patiently, and they don't really have the engage tools to get on top of us. So that was our mindset entering the later fights, and just giving Jeff as much space as possible to work with Vayne in the late game.
For the final thoughts here, we looked at earlier today a matchup that I think people were surprised by how decisive it was for the victory for Wash. What were your thoughts as we look forward to the second round robin? You folks had a tough time scrapping here against TDE. Still, I think they were a tough opponent. They took you to task for sure, but you folks did end up with a win here. That brings you to the top of the standings because Baby is no longer holding that tie. What are your thoughts looking forward at these teams here in the landscape for the second round robin?
Yeah, I know that we are currently at the top of the standings. I wish I could say it was a walk in a park to get there, but it really isn't. Honestly, I think this has made the season really fun, even though, I mean, there's clearly like a stronger top half and a bottom half that's scrambling to get to playoff contention. I think any given match, like, either team can win, and this is the skill gap really closing in and showing how competitive FOF is becoming. Because I think in previous seasons there was a much starker gap between the top teams and the bottom teams. YUBI was able to just kind of coast through a lot of the regular season matches, and I don't think that's been true this season at all. Like, we have to prep every single match. It doesn't matter if they're second or first or last in the standings. Like, every game is really hard and definitely throwable, and we have to be like really disciplined and really focused to convert those wins. So I'm really looking forward to the next part of the season, and I'm also excited to see AWE smash it. Guys are gonna better see you guys in the playoffs, or I'm sending some stuff and trash talk about it.
Reverse sweep or riot, I think. Art of War Esports, we believe in you. Everyone wants to see it. Let's go, boys. This is the start of the 7 and 7 50% win rate gap. I want to congratulate you, Civilock and Universal Basic Income, on taking first place tonight. Thanks to the backs of Wash taking baby to task. You folks did an excellent way of staying in this, keeping your heads above water, even in the times where TDE was able to have what I felt could be a struggling upper hand, where they could have decisively played it out. You folks were able to find the mistakes, find the ways to pull this back. So I think this is an excellent victory, even though it was not the cleanest 22-minute win, but I think that this is something that shows that you folks have the tenacity to stay on top in this tighter league, as you were just saying. So congratulations, Civillock. Before we step away, though, for our final game, your opportunity on the desk. Any final thoughts to leave with us?
Yeah, it was. This one's for Mizuza. I was really excited to see your fifth best champion today, Anivia. Really unfortunate that Vex was disabled, which meant 25% of your champion pool is removed from the game. I'm really excited to see what 2 more champions will learn before next time we see each other in the playoffs. Better see you there, nerd.
All right, well, to quote the illustrious Jeff God Gamer, another dub for the better economic principle!